Good morning and welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase, and I am absolutely delighted today to have Paul and Steve from Integrated Interest. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good morning, sir. All good, thank you very much. Yourself?
Looking good, yes, I am. I'm looking resplendent, obviously. All good, and very excited to hear about what you guys have got to say, because I know a little bit more than most people here, but I think you guys in particular have got a one of those best kept secrets in the industry that I basically love shouting from the hilltop because I'm a shameless show off. The title of today is we're going to be talking about adapting and marketing to the new norm. But before we get into detail, would you just give us a bit of background on yourselves, and again, how did Integrated Interest come about?
Sure, not a problem. Well, I've been in, I was going to say, design and marketing for over 20 years now. So it kind of started off like that, grinded my teeth, kind of looking at strategies, campaigns, and actually implementing that. A lot of it to do within the estate agency industry, and then there was just a natural progression, more and more, became more and more of a demand for that field. So I was going to say, the client started to become predominantly, from a marketing point of view, a managed service. Yeah. So with the managed service that we were offering, it was kind of doing their marketing strategies, etc., etc. A lot of them were using like MailChimp or Campaign Monitor, or those kind of things, which again, email marketing, I mean, when it really started kicking off was probably 10 years ago, I'd say, when it was really getting into it. But one thing we noticed when we were doing it, we just used to hear it all the time was, MailChimp is great, but it was the uploading of the data, so on and so forth. And you kind of think, was there a way to kind of have a standalone integration, which could work for any email platform? So actually that works really well. As I said, design and marketing, developing, not there for me. Luckily though, known Steve for absolute donkeys, who absolutely guru when it came to that kind of stuff, and I got in contact with you, Steve, didn't I?
Yeah, so I started in software development when I was about 18. Just found natural passion for me. So that was literally, the rest sort of writes itself really. Like Paul said, known Paul for a long time, sort of kept in touch, and then these sort of requirements started sort of popping up really. So we got our heads together and said, can we bring something to market which sort of fills the need?
Yeah, and with it being, it wasn't just, one was kind of good, a one-off, but then then there was another, and then there was another, and then there was another. But what we found as well is that people like the model of the likes of MailChimp, a pay-as-you-go kind of thing. Yes. So again, that's what we then introduced into it, was kind of say, well, actually, if you're happy paying a monthly subscription for that, then, here's our offering, which again, it's putting our money where our mouth is, and kind of say, look, it's a monthly subscription. There's no kind of commitment to it. If you don't like it, blah, blah, blah. But there was so much that we could actually do with the, that side of things. That it just makes it a nice model to have. But I was going to say, just not.
I think that software as a service, as they call it, whatever just a rental model, there's an assumption there that it's going to be really, really light touch, isn't it? And actually it seems to me, and we'll go into obviously in a lot more detail, but you've actually turned that on the head. You really are hand holding, aren't you? Which of course, agents, first of all, if they're honest, that they're not marketeers. They might have a marketing edge to them, but they genuinely aren't talented marketeers. And if they're not marketeers, they certainly aren't techies. So if you throw those two in together, it's no surprise, is it, that a lot of these email systems, these nurture systems, haven't worked for agents, because of course they've got to master both of those skills to get it working in tandem, really.
I mean, the thing with agents. Sorry.
I think it's a good point, really. Back in the old days of development, where you're estimating costs, how much it takes to, to implement a certain thing, you're talking, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 pound bills. Yeah. That's where software as a service has really come into its own, really, because if you pitch the service correctly, the sort of right level, at an amount where it is, almost completely negligible, so I was starting off at £99 a month, and then you're sort of giving the agents the service they require. And like you mentioned, they've got their full-time job. They want to sell properties, do what they do best. So they want this sort of stuff to just work seamlessly, in the background. So that's essentially what we bring, really.
Cool. And talk us through the product range then. So what is there? What an agent comes to you? What different things from the kit bag do you have to offer them?
Well, first, one of the first things we do with them though is kind of we just do a bit of an audit, see what they're doing at the moment, see how they're doing things. Because let's be honest, if you've got, I mean, we have our own email sender, which again, I was going to say it's free of charge. Because they may be really happy with MailChimp, they may be happy with campaign, they've got all the templates set up in there. Yeah. And it could be, that whoever's using it could be absolutely spot on. They understand that. So all we'll say there is, we've got this integration, which we can kind of dupe it or reap it, or whoever it may be. I mean, the longest, the list is long and distinguished.
It really is impressive.
I think that's one of our core values. Really, is enabling agents to work with the systems they want to work with, sort of seamlessly. So our sort of core offering really is the integration side. So we will connect any system an agent wants to work with via our integration technology.
Well, we'll come on to that because that's a really sorry, I'm speaking over you there.
No, it's okay. Go on.
Well, it's just a really good point that Stephen's made, because there's other bits further down the line I think we'll touch on with regards to integrating with people like FIFO, for instance. Again, to kind of that, but the integrations that we do, it's not just a one-way integration, it's a two-way integration as well. So we're actually piping that data, because again, MailChimp, Campaign Monitor, or whichever one you use, that information. So as you know, the way I upload the information, that then gets sent out to your database, and it stays in that email sender, that email platform. It never makes its way back into the CRM system, especially with GDPR, and all of that, and kind of it needs.
Well, again, that also comes down to the time aspect, because an agent, although they may want to use the rich services that people like MailChimp provide, they don't want to have to be logging into 2 or 3 separate systems to monitor campaigns and stuff like that. They want it all in one central place, which makes perfect sense.
I mean, we'll go into it a little bit later on, but there is a really nice thing, I think, on our landing pages on Kerfuffle, and there's an integration tab in there, and people need to go and have a look in there to see exactly how many, you again, CRM systems, but third parties in general you're integrating with, because this ultimately is what people are after, aren't they? They are, they have that kind of single sign-on ethos where they don't, they might be using multiple systems, but the idea of rekeying data is just anatomous to them, isn't it?
Sorry, just one of the sort of key points of our ethos really is, it doesn't matter. So if you look at the list of integrations that we currently offer, it's an extensive list.
Yeah, we're always expanding on it as well.
It doesn't matter. Anybody can come to us and say, want to integrate between any 2 systems, and we will sort of facilitate it.
That's great. Yeah, it's really good to have that open view, isn't it? Because it frustrates people a lot about it, is that CRMs in particular have been seen as the gatekeepers of the data, and that frustrates the crap out of agents.
Absolutely. But so going back to the offering of the kit bag, if you like, so the integration and, their email server or email sender or our email sender, as I say, we just want people to it's the integration that we sell. The email sender is almost like a bolt on, it's for free, but also, I mean, there's ones where we've had clients where Steve said before, we start from like £99 for up to 10,000 contacts, and then obviously it's tiered. But by people who are already using MailChimp, we kind of say, look, we can save you the money instantly to pay for the integration. Stop using MailChimp, use our email server, and the money that you save from MailChimp will pay for an integration. So it's a no-brainer for that kind of thing. And then, when they do come across, there's no setup fee for it. We do their email templates for them. So we'll migrate whatever they've got from, let's say, again, MailChimp or wherever it may be, implement that in there. Plus, and this is where it comes on to, in the new norm, we'll set up automated triggers for them as well. We'll set them up, several automated triggers. So even if they're not in there sending emails out every week or every day, or obviously segmented, targeted emails, it's still making money for them. It's still bringing in revenue from either instructions, valuations, cross-selling on conveyancing, or, mortgage brokers, etc., etc. So it's doing that thing for them. Even when people complete, for instance, I know I mentioned FIFO before.
Yeah.
When people complete, then it sends a message to ask that person to give a rating, whether it be Google or Trustpilot or whatever it may be. So it started off like that.
Yeah.
From there, and it was quite good timing actually. We launched it at the beginning of the year. So iVal. So iVal is a standalone, or again integrated app for iPad. So I'm Apple biased.
Yeah.
An iPhone, an iPad. You can even have it on your desktop as well, where it gives an accurate valuation of the product. So it takes you through 5 steps. You download it, takes you through 5 steps, tells you about the property.
I think just to interject slightly as well, some of the sort of point of iVal really is, we've seen other people's offerings where you can go onto various agents' websites, fill in property details. But we saw a bit of an opportunity really for an even simpler journey. So Paul mentioned there the app. So we basically launched a completely bespoke cross-platform app. So obviously predominantly Android or iOS, but there are other platforms as well the app sort of can run on. So a potential vendor can install it onto their phone, a couple of clicks, obviously taking photos and videos directly from the device. There's no messing around uploading to an external website. And then within one press of the button right at the end of the, like Paul says, sort of 5 simple steps, the agent receives all the data.
Nice. Yeah.
But I was going to say, we'll touch up because there's so much more as well. Like it's kind of the clever stuff. And then the final bit that we've got is the Interprint as well, which is, again, it's due to the integration. So we've looked at it from that side of things where, again, into the property management platform, when a house goes from, on the market to exchange or sold, whatever it may be, it will fire, a 20/20, 50/50, whatever it may be, campaign automatically out. The agent will receive an email to let them know, if they want to cancel it, to proof it. So it really just goes, and it's another thing off their list, that they don't have to worry about. And
I think that underlying theme really is automation. Yeah. So it's taking all these manual lists that agents have to sort of run through. They've got to remember to market to the nearest properties that one they've just exchanged or completed on. They've got to remember to send a FIFO review link. It's just taking all those manual steps off the list really and automating it from top to bottom, so they've got time to do what they do best.
But doing what you're doing there as well, so integrating things like print as well, that's massively important in it, because a number of those other email platforms they're just a one-trick pony, and as we know, to be able to have that on the platform approach there can only reinforce it's greater than the sum of its parts, isn't it, essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was something that, we've done that service for people, part of our managed service. We know the people to talk to create the DM cards, which was part of it. But then you just think, again, by automating it and we keep looking at it as things as how we can take cost out. Again, it sounds bizarre. How we can so our managed service is a fantastic service, but it's more suited towards, I was going to say, newsletters, branding, websites, social media, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But to be able to take the cost out of saying, actually, you don't need us to do this, whether it's us or whether it's someone else, it's there for you. It's just going on, automatically doing it for a nominal price. Just seems that. So at every point where we can be more cost effective to the agent, especially in the current market as well. I know
who doesn't need it? They all want it at the moment, don't they?
Well, I was going to say there's so many different opportunities for them as well out there that they can be using that for. So we always look at how to be like that to take it forward. But
and so with those different, you've got obviously some really innovative different product lines there and everything else. What are the main benefits for agents then, and how can you actually help impact their business?
Well, as we say, automation is one of them. So the integration, it's the automation that then provides. Obviously, there's the the standalone items that you can sell. So let's say the property portals, for instance. So information comes through a property portal. How does that then go? For instance, do you send a thank you message? A lot of people, it's surprising when we actually do these orders, how many people haven't got just what you'd expect the basic things to be set up for, which is like a welcome message or a thank you message, kind of thank you very much for kind of blah, blah, blah. but then it's the C2A, the call to actions off the back of that. Thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. By the way, you know, click here for our property search or click here for evaluate. Do you know, it's as simple as that. But what we also try to do on that is then take them on a nurturing campaign or a lead generation campaign, whichever one, you know, you want to call it from whatever marketing jargon. You know, they're near enough the same, slightly different, but near enough the same. You know, and that takes you on a certain journey. There's the ones, as we spoke about before, when someone does complete, you know, instead of, hi, thank you very much, or sending that personal email, again, it looks like personal email, the way the automated messages are done, even by putting people's faces on the email footer when you send it to ask for kind of, it's a personal touch, even though it's automated, which then gets people to engage with that and go, do you know, actually, it has been a great experience. But that then, you know, goes out there and the world sees it. It's like anniversary messages. So anniversary messages, you know, not for birthdays or things like that, but it's for the, you know, we sold the property to them 3-5 years ago. So it's a reminder then, you know,
so that can literally be put into place. If somebody just wants to kind of guarantee that all past clients can get an anniversary, you know, can't believe it's been a year since you bought or sold with us, you can kind of just fire and forget, put that into your system there, and at least you know that core demographic is going to be stayed in contact with. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. And you know, we've even got there for appointment reminders as well. You know, so we do, as I say, several standard ones, but we've got a list of about 30 odd. You know, that then takes you through this automation.
It's almost a bit like a virtual assistant, really. And you know, it's a good point, really touching on the historic data, because obviously, you know, agents aren't going through, you know, the systems thinking, you know, 12 months ago these sold, send them a reminder, and if they are, you know, the time could be spent better elsewhere. So it's almost a bit like a, you know, a virtual assistant, really. You know, we're going through and helping them record keep in touch with the, you know, historic customers all the way through to iVal. You know, so iVal collecting all the data to put in front of the agent, so they've got a better idea, you know, when they sort of valuing the properties.
Well, look, guys, I absolutely enjoyed that. That's really highlighted to me there. I think you've got a real opportunity, obviously, there. People are looking for, you know, for these nurture systems, mailing systems that deliver, and you know, they're not trying to teach you estate agency. You guys have been doing this for years, don't you? So you've got it. You work with some of the best agents. So I wish you all the very best, and obviously stay in contact with us and keep us updated.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Simon.
Cheers, Simon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers.